In the outer reaches of the galaxy, far beyond the trade routes and the busiest star systems, lay the Varnak sector. It was a place whispered about in fear and awe, for no species dared to explore it fully. Maps marked it as forbidden, and the Galactic Council had long declared it off-limits. Rumors claimed ancient civilizations had vanished there, swallowed by forces no one could understand. It was a place where even the bravest explorers hesitated to go. Commander Relo of the Varnak Patrol had been assigned to monitor the sector's edge. Relo was cautious by nature. He had spent his life studying anomalies, tracking unusual energy readings, and reporting back to the Council. The galaxy trusted his judgment because he never panicked and he never exaggerated. He had seen strange phenomena, but nothing like what appeared on his sensors this morning. "Commander, you should see this," said Lieutenant Kira, pointing at the console. The lights blinked in irregular patterns. "The readings are impossible." Rilo leaned forward. The display showed a faint signal, one that defied logic. It was not like anything they had cataloged. Its energy signature fluctuated in ways that no known ship or natural phenomenon could produce. He frowned. "Run the scan again. Triple check. The coordinates. This cannot be real." Kira's fingers flew over the console. "I triple-checked everything, Commander. The signal is coming from within the Forbidden Zone. It's a human ship." Rilo froze. Humans were considered extinct. Every record, every historical report, every exploration log indicated that humans had vanished from the galaxy more than a century ago. Their colonies had disappeared, their fleets destroyed or lost, and their technology had been unmatched but nearly forgotten. The last human ship officially sighted had been 100 years ago. Now, this signal suggested one had not only survived, but was inside the Forbidden Zone. Rilo felt a chill run down his spine. "A human ship inside the Forbidden Zone? Are you sure?" "I've checked all sensor readings. It's definitely human," Kira said. Her voice trembled slightly, betraying her excitement and fear. The Varnak Patrol was quiet for a moment. The Forbidden Zone had claimed ships before, never returning them. No one could explain why, and no species had dared to investigate fully. Yet here was evidence that a human ship had entered willingly or had survived some disaster no one knew. About Rilo's mind raced. "Alert the Galactic Council immediately. I want a full report sent. We need to know if anyone else has detected this." As the message left the patrol ship, a flicker appeared on the main screen. The signal pulsed, almost alive, as if responding to their attention. The humans inside the ship had systems unlike any known design. It moved without visible engines, its energy signature shifting unpredictably. Rilo realized it was not just a ship. It was a puzzle, a living thing in its own way. Meanwhile, deep inside the human ship, Captain Nico stood on the bridge, observing the stars. The vessel was quiet, but energy readings across the systems were unusual. Nico was calm, as humans often were in dangerous situations. He had been trained for the unexpected. His crew worked efficiently, adjusting controls, monitoring dimensions that no alien sensors could detect. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mara, "there are strange readings outside. Drones are approaching from the sector's edge." Nico nodded. "Let them come. We do not hide, but we are not here to fight. Focus on the mission." The human ship moved with precision, slipping past detection fields that would have trapped any other species. Its hull shimmered, blending with the background of space. The drones sent by nearby alien patrols scanned the area and reported nothing, convinced they had detected a mirage. Nico watched silently. Humans had mastered things most civilizations had only theorized about, including the ability to partially exist between dimensions. That skill had kept humanity hidden for generations, and now it allowed them to move freely where no one dared to follow. Back on Relo's ship, the Council's message came in almost immediately. Commander, preliminary reports confirm nothing of this kind has been recorded before. All sensors in nearby sectors show no anomalies. We recommend extreme caution if the humans are real. Their technology is beyond anything we can imagine. Report all findings immediately. Relo sighed. He had a duty to follow orders, but his curiosity was stronger than his caution. He had spent decades tracking anomalies, but this was the first time he had to face something that could challenge everything the galaxy believed. The humans were supposed to be legends, myths even. Now one appeared in front of him, and it seemed almost impossible that it could be real. The patrol fleet moved closer to the Forbidden Zone. Relo studied the ship's coordinates, feeling the weight of responsibility. One wrong decision could trigger a disaster, and yet doing nothing felt impossible. The human ship's signal pulsed again, as if inviting him to come closer. "Commander," Kira said softly, "what if it's a trap?" Rilo considered the possibility. Humans were unpredictable. Even extinct humans had left records of bold, unexpected actions. They could adapt, improvise, and survive in situations that no other species could. If this was a trap, it was one designed with intelligence far beyond the Council's understanding. "Then we approach carefully," Relo said. "We observe, we gather data, nothing more." As the fleet edged into the Forbidden Zone, strange phenomena began to appear. Stars seemed to shimmer differently, as if reality itself was bending. Spacecraft instruments flickered and sometimes went offline entirely. Energy readings twisted in ways that made no sense. Even Relo felt a twinge of unease, but he held his course. On the human ship, Nico's eyes scanned the strange patterns. "They are coming," he said. "Prepare to meet them. Show them who we are without revealing everything." The human crew worked silently, their movements precise and efficient. Their technology did not rely on brute force, but on understanding, on subtle manipulations of energy, time, and space. The ship moved as if it was aware of the approaching patrol, adjusting its position in ways that were almost graceful. Rilo watched as the human ship finally appeared on the edge of visibility. It was magnificent, sleek but simple, with energy fields that shifted color and form. Even the most experienced officers on his fleet were stunned. Humans, thought extinct, were not only alive, but had reached a level of mastery that defied all expectations. "Commander," Kira whispered, "it's beautiful." Relo nodded slowly. He felt something stir inside him, a mixture of awe, fear, and curiosity. The galaxy had never seen anything like this, and now he was the first to witness it firsthand. The human ship floated silently, almost unaware of the patrol surrounding it. Yet the signal it sent out carried a message. Humans were here, humans were real, and humans had returned when no one expected them. As the fleet held its position, waiting for the Council's further instructions, Relo realized the truth. Legends were real. Myths could come alive, and humanity, The species everyone had believed lost forever was about to change the galaxy in ways no one could yet imagine. Chao, impossible signal had arrived, and with it, the first spark of a story that would shake every corner of the stars. The Galactic Council chambers were vast and cold, built from shimmering metal and crystalline panels that reflected light like 1,000 stars. Representatives from dozens of species filled the seats, each unique in shape, color, and form. Some floated above their chairs, others had multiple limbs waving in constant motion, and a few simply sat quietly, observing. All of them were uneasy. The council rarely faced a matter that could not be explained, but the sudden appearance of a human ship in the Forbidden Zone had thrown everyone into confusion. "Esteemed members of the council," began Chancellor Varek, the elected leader of the assembly, "we have received reports of a human vessel within the Varnak sector. These reports come from Commander Relo, whose credibility is unquestioned. Yet the idea of humans surviving, let alone entering the Forbidden Zone, seems impossible. We must discuss the reality of this situation." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many species had heard legends of humans, stories of cunning, bravery, and unexpected victories. Most dismissed these stories as exaggerations. Humans had been extinct for a century. No one believed they could return. Ambassador Laura of the Vinari species leaned forward. Her translucent skin shimmered as she spoke. "Chancellor, I urge caution. Humans were unpredictable even when they were last known. If they exist, their technology is likely far beyond anything we can imagine. They may be dangerous." "Dangerous?" growled Ambassador Krath of the Zolmar fleet. His voice vibrated like low thunder. "We have no evidence of their survival. This could be a trap, a phantom, or a sensor error. We cannot risk panicking the galaxy over myth." Chancellor Varek raised his hands, silencing the chamber. "Whether myth or reality, the reports are consistent. Commander Relo's patrol has verified the readings multiple times. The Council must assume the possibility is real and act accordingly. Ignoring it could have consequences we cannot predict." Meanwhile, Rilo observed from a communication link in his ship. His image appeared as a hologram in the center of the chamber, a calm presence among the heated debates. "Honored Council. Members, I understand your doubt. I, too, found it hard to believe. However, the ship exists. I have scanned it with all available instruments. Its energy signature matches no known species. Its design is unlike anything in our archives. I warn you, this is not a myth. It is real, and it moves as if it is aware of us." Some representatives whispered to each other. The Zolmar grunted. The Vinari exchanged nervous glances. None of them had seen technology like this before. Most species relied on powerful engines, large fleets, and weapons. Humans, it seemed, had relied on something far subtler, something no one understood. Ambassador Trell of the Mardak species, a species known for logic and patience, stood up. "Commander Relo, can you confirm that humans are aware of our presence?" "They are," Relo answered. "They have detected us, yet they do not appear hostile. I believe they are monitoring, observing, and perhaps deciding their own course of action. They have not fired upon us, nor have they hidden completely. They act with intelligence and restraint." A murmur ran through the chamber. "Intelligence and restraint," repeated Laura, as if tasting the words. That is dangerous. Humans were never predictable. Even when weak, they adapted, survived, and triumphed over challenges that should have destroyed them. Krath slammed, a clawed hand on his desk. Enough. This is speculation. We do not negotiate with ghosts or myths. If humans exist, we must contain them or destroy them before they threaten our civilizations. Chancellor Varric's tone grew firm. We will not act blindly. Commander Rilo is tasked with observation. We will not engage without further evidence. However, I recommend the Council form a task force to investigate the human ship, learn its capabilities, and report its intentions. We cannot ignore the possibility that humans may change the balance of power in this galaxy. As the discussion continued, Rilo quietly reviewed the data from his ship. The human vessel was extraordinary. Its energy fields shifted in unpredictable patterns, almost like a living being. It moved without engines, traversed distances quickly, and avoided detection with ease. Most importantly, it seemed to operate with a purpose beyond mere survival. Humans were known for strategy, creativity, and ingenuity. If this ship was truly theirs, it could mean humanity had mastered forces no other species had touched. In the human ship, Captain Nico watched the holographic map of nearby fleets. The aliens were curious, cautious, and fearful, but they were acting predictably. Nico smiled slightly. Humans thrived in situations where others feared to act. They had survived extinction, adapted to unimaginable challenges, and learned to think in ways that no other species could. Prepare to communicate, Nico said. We must make our presence known, but we will not reveal everything. Let them learn that humans exist, but let them understand we are not here to fight without cause. Lieutenant Mara adjusted the ship's multi-dimensional transmitter. Message. Ready, Captain. How direct should we be? Simple, clear, calm. Show them intelligence and control, not aggression, not fear. The message was sent. Across the council chambers, the holograms flickered as the alien representatives received it. The voice was calm, measured, and distinctly human. We are aware of your observation. We do not seek conflict. Our mission is to monitor and protect. We request recognition and safe passage to continue our journey. The room fell silent. No one had expected a direct message. Most species had prepared for deception, traps, or attacks. This message was neither. Humans spoke with authority without. Demanding submission, they stated their intentions without fear. Ambassador Trell's eyes widened. They exist, they have returned, and they are confident. Krath growled, but no words came. Even he felt a tension he could not define. Humans were gone, yet here they were, defying all predictions, demonstrating a presence the galaxy had not seen in 100 years. Rilo, observing silently, realized the Council's problem. The humans challenged assumptions about life, technology, and strategy. They were not just another species. They were something entirely different. The galaxy could not categorize them, predict them, or control them. And that was exactly why humans were so dangerous and so extraordinary. Chancellor Varric leaned back in his seat, his tentacles resting on the council table. The council is divided, he said. Some fear humans. Some doubt them. Some are curious. But one thing is clear. We cannot ignore them. We must understand them, and perhaps in understanding, we will see the galaxy differently. Outside the chamber, in the quiet darkness of space, the human ship continued to drift. Its energy fields pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Captain Nico looked out at the stars, calm and steady. He knew the Council was confused. He knew the galaxy would struggle to accept humans. But he also knew that humans had survived, because they never followed rules blindly, never feared the unknown, and never surrendered to expectations. Rilo watched the ship through his sensors, feeling a mix of fear and admiration. This was no ordinary human story. This was the beginning of a legend, a story that could change the galaxy forever. The Council might argue, the fleets might debate, and the species might squabble, but humans had returned, and their presence would not be ignored. The Forbidden Zone had revealed a truth that no one could deny. Humans existed, humans had returned, and the galaxy was about to learn that survival, ingenuity, and courage could come in forms no one expected. The Varnak patrol fleet moved cautiously through the edges of the Forbidden Zone. Stars shimmered strangely here, as if reality itself was bending and twisting. Instruments on Rilo's ship flickered intermittently. Energy readings defied explanation, and the familiar markers of space navigation seemed to shift as if alive. Still, Rilo held course. The human ship was within reach, and he had to see it with his own eyes. "Commander," Lieutenant Kira said, her voice low, "the ship is appearing on our sensors. It's unusual. I cannot describe it." Rilo leaned over the console. The ship appeared faint at first, almost as if it were a mirage. Its hull shimmered, shifting colors in ways that seemed unnatural. Engines were invisible, yet it moved steadily, adjusting its course with grace. It was unlike anything Rilo had ever seen. "Steady," Rilo said. "Do not provoke it. Observe and record. This is history in the making." The human ship slowly approached a neutral point between the fleets. Its energy pulses were steady, calm, yet they carried a subtle warning. Humans were aware, alert, and fully capable of defending themselves. Rilo felt a mix of awe and caution. Humans had always been underestimated. They were clever, adaptable, and despite being extinct in the galaxy's records, still unpredictable. On the human ship, Captain Nico stood at the center of the bridge, watching the alien fleet. He was calm, as always. His crew worked efficiently, monitoring the Varnak vessels and the surrounding space. The aliens were cautious but curious. Nico allowed them to approach. Humans were confident in their abilities, but they never underestimated others. Every move they made was measured and precise. "Keep the shields active," Nico said to Lieutenant Mara. "We do not attack, but we cannot be careless. Their curiosity is strong, but it may turn into aggression. Be ready for any sudden action." The first communication attempt came from the Council's liaison vessel. Its voice was formal, hesitant, and tinged with disbelief. "Human ship, this is Commander Rilo of the Varnak Patrol. Identify yourselves. State your intentions." Nico stepped forward, placing his hands behind his back. "This is Captain Nico of the human vessel Endurance. We are aware of your observation. We do not seek conflict. Our mission is to monitor and protect. We request recognition and safe passage through this sector." The chamber of the Council had predicted chaos, but the message was calm, direct, and firm. It carried authority without arrogance. Alien officers whispered to each other. Humans spoke with confidence and intelligence, not with fear or aggression. This was something the galaxy had not seen in 100 years. "Commander," Kira said, astonished, "they are calm. They are not defensive or hostile. This is impossible." Relo nodded, feeling the truth settle in his mind. Humans were back, and they were extraordinary. Their existence challenged everything the Council had believed about survival, strategy, and adaptability. The human ship moved slightly, demonstrating its ability to maneuver with precision. It was a test, showing the aliens that humans were in control but willing to communicate. Nico's voice came over the channel again. "We understand your confusion. Humanity has survived despite great odds. We do not wish to dominate or harm any species. We only wish to observe and act when necessary to protect life." The alien fleet hesitated. Every species present had faced humans in the past, and all had underestimated them. Humans had been clever, adaptable, and resilient. Even extinct, their legacy remained one of ingenuity and unexpected triumph. Now, a living human vessel challenged their assumptions once again. Relo ordered the fleet to maintain distance. "Observe only. Do not engage. We cannot provoke them, and we must not underestimate them. They are capable of far more than any of us realize." As the fleets watched, the human ship began to demonstrate technology that no one had seen before. Small energy pulses redirected nearby asteroids harmlessly. Communication waves bypassed interference from the zone's strange energy fields. Sensors picked up patterns in space-time that no alien species could fully understand. Humans were not just surviving in the Forbidden Zone, they were thriving. Nico addressed the Council directly. "We are willing to share limited knowledge, provided it does not threaten our mission or the safety of our people. Humans have always sought understanding and cooperation. We act with intelligence, not recklessness." Some representatives whispered among themselves. "They speak of cooperation," said Ambassador Laura, "yet their technology is beyond us. How can we trust them?" Chancellor Varric responded calmly. "We cannot ignore them. We must approach cautiously. Observation first, discussion second. Any action taken without understanding may have consequences we cannot predict." Relo observed the human crew quietly working. Humans were small in number compared to the vast alien fleets, yet they acted with coordination, efficiency, and intelligence. Each movement was deliberate. Every action was calculated. Humans had survived extinction by thinking differently, by solving problems that others could not. Suddenly, the human ship shifted. Its energy fields brightened, and it moved in a pattern that was almost like a dance. Alien vessels tried to anticipate its movements, but the humans were always a step ahead. Nico did not attack. He only demonstrated capability, showing that humans could protect themselves without initiating conflict. "Commander," Kira whispered, "they are teaching us something. They are showing us how to survive, how to move, without harming anyone. It is incredible." Relo nodded, feeling both pride and awe. Humans had returned not as conquerors but as teachers, as beings who could survive and adapt in ways no other species had imagined. The galaxy had assumed they were gone, but humans had only been preparing, hidden and patient, waiting for the right moment. Nico's voice came once more, calm and firm. "We do not ask for trust blindly. We only request that you recognize our presence and allow us to continue our mission. Humans act with caution, intelligence, and purpose. We have survived because we understand the balance of life and the importance of cooperation." Any attack on us will be met with defense, but we will not strike first unless provoked. The council representatives exchanged glances. Some were relieved, some were wary, most were amazed. Humans, extinct for a century, had returned with confidence, intelligence, and control. They were not what anyone had expected. Relo knew the moment was historic. They are real. They are alive. They are not hostile. Yet they are prepared. We must respect that. Outside the fleet, the human ship floated serene and controlled, as if it were aware of the attention but entirely indifferent to fear. Captain Nico stood on the bridge watching the stars. Humans had survived countless challenges. They had returned at a time when the galaxy had forgotten them. Now the Council and the patrol fleet would see the result of human ingenuity firsthand. The first contact was complete. No weapons were fired. No aggression occurred. Yet the galaxy had already begun to change. Humans existed. Humans had returned. And the galaxy would never be the same. For Relo, for the Council, and for every species watching, the human ship was more than a signal. It was proof that legends could be real. It was a reminder that survival, intelligence, and courage were not limited to myths. And it was the first sign that humans, long thought lost, had returned to show the galaxy what it truly meant to be alive. The Galactic Council was still in shock. Humans, long thought extinct, had returned with a ship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Even the most cautious species could not deny it now. Yet uncertainty lingered. Could humans be trusted? Could they be controlled? Or were they a threat waiting to reveal itself? To answer these questions, the Council decided to test them. They assembled small fleets from various species, each equipped with sensors, energy probes, and communication interceptors. The task was simple in theory: challenge the humans without engaging in open conflict, and observe their response. In practice, it was unlike anything they had faced before. Commander Relo watched from his ship as the human vessel floated calmly in space. "We do not attack," he said to Lieutenant Kira. "We observe only. Every action they take will tell us more than any words." The first test came in the form of energy scans. Alien ships sent beams to map the human ship, to understand its energy source and structural design. The humans responded immediately, but not aggressively. Captain Nico ordered the crew to redirect some of the energy pulses harmlessly back into space, using fields that altered their trajectory. The alien scans were absorbed and reflected in ways no species had predicted. The humans were not hiding, but they were demonstrating capability. Ambassador Laura of the Venari species whispered to her neighbor, "They adapt instantly. They are not defensive in the usual sense. They are teaching us." The next test was more subtle. Alien drones approached, attempting to probe the ship physically. As they drew near, the humans adjusted shields and energy fields, guiding the drones safely away from critical systems. No damage was inflicted, no weapons fired, yet the fleet could see that any aggressive move would be countered with precision. "This is extraordinary," Relo said. "They are not only protecting themselves, but doing it without hostility. Every move is calculated, intelligent, and measured." Inside the human ship, Nico observed the drones and alien vessels. "They are testing us," he said calmly. "They need to understand what humans are capable of. Let them learn. We show them skill without aggression." Lieutenant Mara nodded. It is almost like they are learning from us at the same time. Exactly, Nico said. Humans survive by understanding, not by attacking blindly. This is a lesson in strategy, patience, and adaptability. We demonstrate our power without creating fear unnecessarily. The council observed with growing amazement. Humans were different. Most species relied on size, weapons, and overwhelming force to survive. Humans had thrived for centuries on ingenuity, creativity, and the ability to adapt to the unexpected. They had no large fleets, no extreme weapons, yet they could outmaneuver, outthink, and survive threats that would have destroyed others. Ambassador Trell of the Mardak species said quietly, "It is not just survival. They show intelligence that no sensor can measure. They anticipate, adjust, and adapt instantly. This is unlike anything we have ever seen." Then came the most delicate test. The Council ordered a simulated attack using energy pulses aimed to disrupt navigation and shield systems. Every species expected the humans to react defensively, perhaps even aggressively. Instead, the human ship moved with calm precision. Energy. Fields bent the pulses harmlessly. Small systems adjusted instantly, and communication arrays rerouted signals to maintain stability. The aliens could only watch as humans turned their own challenge into a display of understanding. "Commander," Kira said, "they are turning our tests into lessons. Every attempt we make to challenge them only proves their skill further." Rilo nodded. "Yes, they are showing us what humans can do. We are witnessing survival in its purest form. This is not aggression. This is intelligence and adaptability at work." On the human ship, Nico allowed the alien fleets to see their full capability, but he never exceeded what was necessary. Humans were masters of balance. They had survived extinction not by attacking first, but by thinking differently, by using creativity and intelligence to solve problems no other species could handle. The council representatives began to debate again, but now their conversation had changed. No longer were they discussing whether humans existed or whether they were a threat. They were discussing the nature of humans themselves. Could any species match their ingenuity? Could any species survive with the same adaptability? For the first time, the galaxy considered humans not as extinct legends, but as beings capable of shaping the future. Ambassador Krath, who had argued for immediate action, spoke reluctantly. "They are remarkable. Perhaps we underestimated them." Ambassador Laura nodded slowly. "Remarkable is not enough. Humans do not follow expectations. We cannot predict their moves, and that makes them dangerous. Yet there is no malice in them. They act with intelligence, not instinct." Rilo realized that humans were teaching the galaxy an important lesson. Survival was not about fear or dominance. It was about understanding, adapting, and using intelligence to overcome challenges. Every species in the Council could learn from this, if they were willing to listen. As the tests continued, humans responded not with aggression, but with clarity and control. Their ships' movements were elegant, efficient, and precise. Every challenge presented by the Council's fleets was met with a solution that minimized harm and maximized understanding. Humans were alive, yes, but more importantly, they were fully in command of themselves and their technology. Nico finally addressed the fleets once more. "We have demonstrated our capabilities without conflict. Let this be clear. Humans survive through understanding, not through domination. We protect ourselves when necessary, but we do not attack without cause. The galaxy can judge our actions based on observation and logic, not fear or legend. The council fell silent. For the first time, every representative understood that humans were unlike any species they had encountered. Their intelligence, adaptability, and ingenuity were unmatched. They could survive in impossible conditions. They could turn challenges into lessons. They could act decisively without aggression. Commander Relo spoke to the council via hologram. Members of the council, I have observed humans closely. They are real, intelligent, and fully capable. Their actions are not hostile, yet they can defend themselves with precision. I urge caution in judgment. Humans are not a species to fear without reason, but neither are they a species to underestimate. Chancellor Varek nodded. It seems the galaxy must reconsider everything it believed about humans. We assumed extinction. We assumed weakness. We assumed predictability. All of these assumptions are wrong. Humans have returned, and they have proven themselves capable of things we cannot yet fully comprehend. Outside the fleets, the human ship floated silently, a symbol of calm confidence. Captain Nico watched the stars, knowing that the council and the fleets had learned an important lesson. Humans survived not because of power, not because of aggression, and not because of numbers. They survived because they could think, adapt, and act in ways no other species had mastered. The tests ended without conflict. The alien fleets withdrew slightly, respect and caution in their hearts. For the first time in a century, humans had proven themselves alive, capable, and extraordinary. The galaxy had witnessed the return of a species that would not just survive, but inspire, challenge, and change the way civilizations thought about life and strategy. Commander Relo stared at the human ship. He realized that what he had seen was more than a demonstration of technology. It was proof of a philosophy. Intelligence, adaptability, and courage could overcome fear, misunderstanding, and even extinction. Humans were alive, and the galaxy had begun to understand why legends of their ingenuity had persisted for so long. The message was clear. Humans existed. Humans were extraordinary, and the galaxy would never again assume they were extinct, weak, or predictable. The council chambers buzzed with tension. Even after the demonstrations, many species struggled to understand humans. Their technology, their adaptability, and their calm intelligence had impressed the galaxy. Yet doubt remained. Could humans be trusted? Could they be guided, controlled, or negotiated with? Captain Nico and his crew, aboard the human vessel, were about to answer the most important question yet. The human ship hovered near a secure relay point, visible to the council, but maintaining distance. Nico prepared to reveal the purpose of their journey. This is the reason humans have returned, he told his crew. The galaxy faces a danger it cannot yet comprehend. We have watched and waited, but now it is time to act. Knowledge and preparation are key. Others cannot fight it alone. Lieutenant Mara looked at him. Captain, how will the council respond? They will understand, Nico said calmly. Humans survived extinction because we see problems differently. The galaxy must do the same. Nico activated a subspace communicator. His voice carried clearly to the council chambers. Honored representatives, we have allowed you to observe humans. Now you must understand the reason for our return. An ancient intelligence, dormant for centuries, has reawakened. It threatens star systems, planets, and life itself. If left unchecked, it could destroy civilizations faster than you can react. The chamber erupted with murmurs. Many species had heard legends of ancient powers, but none had faced them directly. "What do you mean by intelligence?" asked Ambassador Trell. "A weapon? A creature? Something else?" Nico's voice was calm and precise. "It is neither weapon nor creature alone. It is an intelligence buried beneath a rogue planet in the outskirts of this sector. Its systems have evolved for millennia to consume energy and life. It was dormant, but now it has begun to awaken. Its reach is vast, and its power is beyond current galactic understanding." Ambassador Laura gasped. "How can a single intelligence pose such a threat?" Relo, observing from his ship, understood immediately. Humans had faced impossible threats before, and their knowledge was precise. They did not exaggerate. If Nico warned of a threat, it was real and imminent. Nico continued. "Humans have prepared for such dangers. Our survival depended on observing, understanding, and adapting to forces far stronger than ourselves. We have returned to guide, to protect, and to assist the galaxy in confronting this intelligence. But we cannot act alone. We need cooperation, coordination, and trust from all species." Krath's claws clicked against his desk. "We should destroy it before it can awaken fully. Delay is dangerous." Nico's voice was steady. "Direct attack will fail. This intelligence is too advanced. It adapts to force. Strategy and intelligence, not brute power, are required. We must act carefully, combining technology, coordination, and understanding. Humans can lead, but all species must contribute in ways suited to their strengths." The council grew silent, realizing the magnitude of the problem. Every species had unique abilities, fleets, and resources, yet none could face the threat alone. Humanity, long assumed extinct, now offered knowledge, leadership, and strategy beyond what anyone else had. Relo observed the human ship's sensors. Humans were already scanning the rogue planet, analyzing its patterns, and mapping its defenses. Their calculations were precise, elegant, and adaptive. Humans had survived extinction because they could think differently, anticipate challenges, and act in ways no other species could imagine. Ambassador Trell leaned forward. "Captain Nico, how can we trust humans to guide us? We have not seen your methods, your tactics, or your history firsthand." Nico replied, "Trust is earned through action, not words. Observe us. Compare our strategy to our results. Humans have survived when others could not. Our intelligence and creativity are proven. Follow our guidance in this mission, and the galaxy will have a chance to survive the ancient threat." The council debated. Some species hesitated, fearful of relying on humans. Others were eager, desperate for leadership in the face of a threat beyond comprehension. Finally, Chancellor Varek spoke. "We will form a coalition. Humans will provide guidance, strategy, and insight. Alien fleets will contribute resources, personnel, and knowledge. The mission will proceed under coordination and mutual respect. We cannot ignore this opportunity." Relo felt a mixture of relief and admiration. Humans had not demanded power or control. They had offered knowledge, strategy, and leadership without arrogance. Their goal was survival, protection, and unity. The galaxy had forgotten these qualities in its fear and rivalry, yet humans still embodied them perfectly. Outside, the human ship moved closer to the rogue planet, scanning its energy patterns. Captain Nico explained the situation to his crew. The intelligence is unlike any other. It adapts, it learns, it consumes. We must map its structure, identify weaknesses, and coordinate with allies to neutralize it. Lieutenant Mara pointed at the holographic display. Captain, its energy is immense. How can we possibly match it? We do not match it with power, Nico said. We use intelligence, observation, and strategy. Brute force will fail. Precision, adaptation, and coordination will succeed. Humans survived extinction because we understood this. Others must learn the same lesson quickly. The Council fleets were briefed on the human strategy. Unlike traditional combat plans, humans emphasized observation, coordination, and adaptation. Each species would contribute differently, using their strengths to complement the overall mission. Humans would lead, but they would not dominate. Every fleet, every crew, every species had a role. Ambassador Laura spoke privately to Relo. I do not understand how humans think, yet I see their methods work. It is unsettling and brilliant at the same time. Relo nodded. They are unpredictable, yet deliberate. Humans survive because they can solve problems no one else can even see. The galaxy has underestimated them for a century, and now we are, learning why. Nico's crew worked tirelessly, analyzing the rogue planet, mapping energy flows, and predicting responses from the ancient intelligence. Every adjustment, every calculation was made with precision and foresight. Humans had survived extinction because they could anticipate, adapt, and act decisively. Now, the galaxy would see the same methods applied to an unprecedented threat. As the first planning sessions concluded, Chancellor Varek addressed the Council. The galaxy faces a danger beyond imagination. Humans, long thought extinct, offer insight and leadership. We must follow their guidance, cooperate fully, and trust in their abilities. Our survival depends on it. Relo watched the human ship, now floating calmly near the rogue planet. Captain Nico stood on the bridge, surveying the stars. Humans had returned not for conquest or power. They had returned to guide, to protect, and to ensure survival. For the first time, the Council and the fleets realized that humans were not merely another species. They were a symbol of ingenuity, resilience, and intelligence. They had survived extinction, returned stronger, and now offered the galaxy a chance to survive the ancient threat. The Council understood one undeniable truth. Humans were extraordinary. They were alive, capable, and unafraid. And they had returned to remind the galaxy that survival required more than fear, power, or tradition. It required intelligence, courage, and the ability to act differently when others failed. The ancient threat loomed, vast and dangerous. Yet the galaxy had hope for the first time in centuries. Humans had returned, and the story of survival, ingenuity, and cooperation was about to begin in full. The rogue planet loomed ahead, a dark sphere surrounded by swirling clouds of energy that distorted space itself. Alien fleets hovered at a safe distance, scanning and analyzing, while the human ship moved confidently closer. Captain Nico stood on the bridge, calm and focused. Every crew member worked efficiently, monitoring systems, energy flows, and the alien fleets around them. "This is it," Nico said quietly to Lieutenant Mara. "The intelligence is active. We move now, carefully, precisely. Observe, adapt, and act. Everything else is secondary." Mara nodded, her eyes scanning the holographic displays. "Captain, the energy fields are stronger than we expected. How do we neutralize them without triggering a full response?" "We do not fight blindly," Nico replied. "We guide the forces, observe reactions, and act only when necessary. Intelligence must outmatch strength." Commander Relo watched from his ship, feeling a mix of awe and reassurance. Humans had returned to a galaxy that had forgotten them, and now they led a mission that no one else could manage. Their calm, deliberate approach contrasted sharply with the usual chaos of interstellar combat. The Council fleets followed the human guidance, positioning themselves according to instructions. Humans had calculated angles, energy flows, and probable responses from the ancient intelligence. Every alien vessel played a role, yet none could act effectively without the human strategy. Nico activated the ship's advanced scanning arrays. Streams of data flowed across the bridge, mapping the rogue planet's energy grids. "We have identified points of vulnerability," he announced. "Focus your efforts there. Timing is critical. React instantly to changes. Predict, adapt, and maintain formation." Alien captains, skeptical at first, followed the plan. They were impressed by the humans' foresight. The rogue planet's energy pulses struck without warning, but humans had anticipated them. Fleets adjusted, shields synchronized, and no vessel was lost in the first exchange. Every reaction came from observation, every movement was deliberate, and every adjustment minimized risk. Lieutenant Mara watched, amazed. "Captain, they adapt faster than we predicted. Every time the planet shifts, we respond instantly, but we do it without panic." Nico smiled. "Humans survive because we think clearly under pressure. Every threat is a problem to solve, not a reason to panic. The galaxy must see this. Survival requires intelligence, not force alone." The rogue planet responded, sending massive energy surges toward the fleets. Alien weapons failed to penetrate the defenses. Human strategy allowed the ships to dodge, reroute energy, and use the surges to their advantage. Every move made by the humans turned the planet's power into an obstacle that could be managed, rather than a weapon that destroyed. "Commander," Relo reported to the Council, excitement clear in his voice. "The humans are extraordinary. They are not merely leading, they are teaching us how to survive a threat that no other species could manage. Every action they take is precise and effective." Ambassador Trell of the Mardak species nodded. "They are not acting with aggression. They are guiding, adapting, and using intelligence to overcome impossible odds. Humans survived extinction, and now they are showing why." The first direct maneuver came when Nico ordered the human ship to approach the rogue planet's equator, where energy flows were strongest. Using multi-dimensional navigation, the ship moved through unstable space without triggering any destructive response. The alien fleets followed in formation, guided by human calculations. "Lieutenant Mara, adjust shields to redirect incoming surges to non-critical areas," Nico instructed. "The goal is control, not destruction. We must maintain balance while neutralizing threat potential." Mara worked quickly, her hands flying over the controls. Energy fields bent pulses, directing them harmlessly into empty space. The alien fleets adjusted accordingly. No vessels were lost, yet the rogue planet's energy was contained effectively. Relo realized that humans had returned to teach more than survival. They taught strategy, adaptation, and coordination. Alien fleets had numbers and firepower, but humans had precision, insight, and foresight. Every calculation was designed to maximize effect and minimize harm. The rogue planet responded with massive bursts, attempting to disrupt the formation. Alien captains panicked for a moment, but humans had anticipated this. Nico's ship adjusted, sending signals that synchronized shield frequencies and energy grids across all fleets. Chaos became order. The intelligence's power was immense, yet it could not overcome human-guided coordination. Nico addressed the fleet calmly. Observe the patterns, predict the changes, adapt immediately. Confidence in strategy is more effective than panic or force. Humans survived extinction because we act logically, creatively, and decisively. The Council watched the operation in silence, astonished by the coordination and intelligence on display. No single species could have led this mission alone. Humans had returned not to dominate, but to guide, to demonstrate what intelligence and adaptability could achieve. Hours passed. The rogue planet's energy pulses weakened gradually as humans calculated and guided the fleet's responses. Points of vulnerability identified earlier were targeted strategically. No attack was wasted, no vessel lost unnecessarily. Humans had turned a catastrophic threat into a manageable challenge. Mara spoke quietly to Nico. Captain, the planet's energy is diminishing. We are stabilizing the situation. Good, Nico replied. Now maintain focus. Adapt continuously. The intelligence will respond to our strategies. We must anticipate every change and act accordingly. Humans survive because we do not react blindly. We think, adjust, and execute precisely, Rilo communicated with the Council. Members, the humans are controlling the threat with efficiency we could not have imagined. Every maneuver, every calculation is deliberate. They are extraordinary, and the galaxy owes its survival to their guidance. As the sun rose over distant stars, the rogue planet's energy stabilized. The ancient intelligence, vast and powerful, was contained, unable to strike further. Fleets held formation under human guidance, having survived the first major encounter. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had hope. Captain Nico surveyed the calm fleets. Humans had led the galaxy through impossible odds. They had survived, taught strategy, and turned fear into understanding. The Council and alien fleets realized one undeniable truth. Humans were extraordinary. They had returned not for power, not for conquest, but to ensure survival. Relo watched from his ship, awe in his voice. Humans have shown us what survival truly means. Intelligence, adaptability, and courage can overcome even the greatest threats. They have returned to remind the galaxy that we can rise above fear, limits, and legends. The human ship drifted calmly near the rogue planet, a symbol of resilience and intelligence. Captain Nico knew that this was only the beginning. Humans had survived extinction, returned stronger, and now led the galaxy against an ancient threat. Their actions proved that survival was not about weapons or numbers, but about thinking differently, acting decisively, and never underestimating the power of intelligence. The galaxy watched, learned, and followed. Humanity had returned, and the story of ingenuity, courage, and survival had reached its most critical chapter yet. The rogue planet pulsed with unstable energy, its ancient intelligence aware of the intruders that had dared to enter its territory. Alien fleets held formation under human guidance, their sensors scanning every shift and fluctuation. Captain. Nico stood calmly on the bridge of the human ship, his eyes on the swirling energy field. "This is the final phase," he said to Lieutenant Mara. "We stabilize, contain, and neutralize. Every species must follow precisely. One mistake could trigger a chain reaction we cannot stop." Mara nodded, her hands moving over the controls with practiced speed. "Captain, all fleets are in position. Energy surges are being managed. We can begin containment." Nico smiled slightly. "Good. Remember, we survive because we think differently. Intelligence and precision outweigh brute force. Observe, adapt, and act." Commander Relo monitored the operation from his ship. The alien fleets, once skeptical of humans, now relied entirely on their strategy. Every movement, every adjustment was directed by the humans. For the first time in history, no species led by fear or aggression. Humanity had returned not to dominate, but to guide, teach, and protect. The first containment field was deployed by the human ship. Multidimensional energy grids formed a protective barrier around the rogue planet. Alien ships synchronized their shields and energy flows according to human calculations. The intelligence inside the planet reacted, sending pulses of energy to disrupt the formation. "Adjust frequencies," Nico ordered calmly. "Redirect pulses to non-critical zones. Predict, don't react. Humans survive because we anticipate, not panic." Mara executed the commands flawlessly. Energy pulses were absorbed, redirected, and dissipated without harming any vessel. The ancient intelligence tested every weakness in the formation, but humans had already accounted for every variation. Relo reported to the Council. "The humans are extraordinary. Every move, every calculation is precise. They are containing the intelligence while minimizing risk. The galaxy has never seen such coordination." The alien fleets began to understand the humans' methods. They adjusted their strategy, following the guidance of the human ship. Their previous skepticism melted into respect. Intelligence and cooperation replaced fear and suspicion. Nico addressed all fleets through subspace communication. "Do not act independently. Observe the patterns, follow the plan, adapt immediately to changes. The ancient intelligence is powerful, but it is not invincible. We succeed because we act with intelligence, coordination, and courage." Energy surges became stronger. The rogue planet tried to break the containment field, its intelligence probing weaknesses in the fleet's formation. But the humans anticipated every move. Using advanced calculations and precise timing, they redirected the energy safely, maintaining the integrity of the barrier. Mara looked at the displays. "Captain, it's responding faster than we predicted. It's adapting to our patterns." Nico nodded calmly. "Then we adapt faster. Humans survived extinction by thinking ahead, by adjusting to every challenge. Do not fear the unknown. Use it to guide action. Intelligence is the strongest weapon." The Council representatives watched, in awe. Ambassadors whispered to one another, acknowledging that humans were not just a species. They were symbols of ingenuity and resilience. Every fleet, every captain, every crew member was learning from humanity in real time. The rogue planet pulsed violently, sending waves of energy that could have destroyed unprepared ships. Yet under human guidance, every vessel held formation. Shields synchronized, energy flows redirected, and the ancient intelligence's attempts at destruction were nullified. Rilo could barely contain his admiration. They are teaching the galaxy how to survive. Intelligence, patience, and adaptation are stronger than raw power. Humans survived extinction, and now they are showing us why. Nico gave final instructions. We now proceed to the core. Focus containment beams on the central energy source. Timing is critical. One misstep could destabilize the entire planet. Observe carefully, act decisively. Mara and the crew worked with flawless precision. Containment beams converged on the core, stabilizing the energy and preventing further surges. Alien fleets adjusted their positions, following human calculations. The ancient intelligence struggled against the coordinated effort, but the humans' foresight kept it in check. Hours passed. Slowly, the rogue planet's energy pulses weakened. The intelligence, immense and ancient, could no longer disrupt the formation. Every fleet, every crew, every species relied on human guidance, learning from their strategy and coordination. Finally, Nico observed the energy readings. Containment is complete. The intelligence is neutralized, unable to escape or harm any system. We have succeeded. The council erupted in relief and admiration. Alien ambassadors looked at each other in disbelief. Humans, long thought extinct, had led the galaxy through an impossible challenge. They had survived where others would have failed. They had taught the value of intelligence, adaptability, and courage. Rilo communicated with the council. Members, humanity has proven its worth beyond measure. They led the mission, contained the ancient intelligence, and ensured survival without unnecessary loss. The galaxy owes them respect and recognition. Ambassador Laura of the Venari species spoke quietly. They are extraordinary. Humans do not dominate. They guide. They survive through intelligence and creativity. We have learned from them today. Krath, the once skeptical Zolmar ambassador, nodded reluctantly. I underestimated them. Humanity is remarkable. Perhaps no species could have accomplished this alone. Nico addressed the fleets one last time. We have succeeded because we acted with understanding, coordination, and intelligence. Humans survived extinction by thinking differently, adapting, and leading without fear. Remember this lesson. Intelligence and courage outweigh fear and aggression. Survival depends on action guided by thought. The alien fleets withdrew to safe distances, watching the human ship calmly drift near the rogue planet. The intelligence remained contained, powerless, a reminder of the scale of the threat that humans had helped neutralize. Rilo looked at the ship, pride in his voice. Humans have returned to the galaxy not just as survivors, but as teachers, leaders, and symbols of hope. They have changed everything we believed about life, intelligence, and courage. Captain Nico stood on the bridge, gazing at the stars. Humanity had returned, survived extinction, and now ensured that the galaxy could survive too. Their actions had proven that humans were extraordinary. They were intelligent, adaptable, and courageous. And they had reminded the galaxy that survival was not about power or fear, but about using intelligence and unity to overcome impossible odds. The rogue planet remained contained, a symbol of human ingenuity and courage. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humans existed, humans were extraordinary, and humans would never be forgotten again. For every species, for every fleet, and for every observer, the story of humanity's return became legend. The galaxy had faced its greatest threat and survived, guided by humans who showed that intelligence, adaptability, and courage could overcome even the most ancient and powerful forces. And humanity had proven one undeniable truth. No matter the odds, no matter the danger, humans could survive and thrive where others could not.